Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters in Iman, especially those who are married. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi, amma ba'd. All praise be to Allah. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with his companions. We have already covered 4 parts in this series, new series of marriage, yani approaching marriage. But then we focused on things that should be avoided with and by married people, a husband and wife, that if not avoided may lead to instability in a home, but also may even lead to talaq, right? So we covered almost 12 points by now. In every part, we covered three points. And now we are moving to part 5. Please go back to part 1 until where we are at now. Such things that causes instability, unhappiness, misunderstanding, chaotic situation, chaotic marital life, confused marital life, depression and anxiety and all these things, because there is no peace in the house, but also has caused many marriages and relationships within marriage to fall apart. We want to move to point number 13. This is 5th part, point number 13. Point number 13 is as follows. Family or relatives and friends. Relatives are part of our marriage. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned a portion of that fi Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, ayah number 1. Ya ayyuhan nasu attaqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum min nafsin wahida wa khalaqa minha zawjaha wa batha minhuma rijalan kathiran wa nisaa wattaqu allaha alladhi tasaaluna bihi wal arham inna allaha kana alaykum raqiba. Allah is mentioning al-arham, that also respect the womb that carried you. And so when you get married, it doesn't mean that you are taken away or you have moved away from your parents. And that is why in Islam, even after marriage, you cannot change your parents. You cannot change your parents' name. You cannot take. In fact, it's haram that a Muslimah who is married, who is now a zawja, takes the name of, husband's family. This is not Islamic. Aisha radiallahu anha was never called Aisha Muhammad or Aisha bint Muhammad. Ruqayya, you have maybe a wife called Ruqayya or Amina, and the dad is Abdullah. She remains to be Amina or Ruqayya bint Abdullah. Okay. Now, your parents remains to be your parents, and his parents remain to be his parents. But we have seen that some marriages, and I'm talking about a very large number, big, number or big percentage, instability has been caused by families. Your sister said that, your brother said that, you don't listen to me, you only listen to your brothers. There are people who get married and a sister's marriage is controlled by her mom. Mom has a remote control. She's controlling her like this. If you want this from your husband, do this. If he doesn't do this, don't deprive him of this. I will train you how to deal with men. Some moms are very good, or sisters, some of them are not good. And then you find a brother with his brothers, or a brother who is, I call them kitchen boys, mama's boys. Got married, but he cannot treat his wife except the way his mom dictates. Mom is sitting somewhere with a remote control. Did she do this? Is she like this? Is she like that? And he is reporting all the secrets, sometimes even their bedroom issues, to his mom. We have seen some mom misbehaving, that they come to their sons' homes and they destroy relationship. They don't respect their, their daughter-in-law. They don't respect their. They say, "This is my son's house." Who do you think you are? This is wrong. Yes, yes. There is a Sahabi who had problem with his dad, and the father went and took this case to the Prophet ﷺ, and Rasul told him, "Anta wa maluka li abika," that you and your wealth belong to your dad. But there is also boundaries, parents, sisters to husbands, and sisters to wives, brothers. There are boundaries. We have destroyed many marriages. Please do not do that. Please do not do that. For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not. Family interventions. And so what do we do with family? And also there are friends who have destroyed many marriages. Right? There are many friends who have destroyed many marriages. You don't even respect their privacy. You want to come to your friend's home, and you want to stay the whole night. And his wife needs him. Children needs him. Please. And we know that in Islam there is thalathu awrat. There are 3 times that are forbidden from visiting each other. Aren't you ashamed that you are destroying your friend's marriage by just going into his house the way you want to go? Staying in that house at night, making noise when children cannot sleep, because and this, this ignorant person is supporting that. And if wife speaks, then it's like, you don't love my friends, and this is not right. I had a brother who said that if I were to choose, I had those friends before you, and if I were to choose between you and them, I will choose them. You are such an ignorant person. You are wrong, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask you about this. Your wife has right, and she has right to be with you more than those friends. Now, what do we do with relatives? Of course, many ayat in Quran is encouraging, family, ties, definitely, right? وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning all that. Like, in what do we do to safeguard your marriage? You need both of you, since a wife knows her family and a brother, a husband also knows his family. Can you please do the following? Can you safeguard your marriage from bad and wrong interventions from family or bad influences? Safeguard, protect, do not allow that to break your relationship. But also agree on the best way of respecting both families and even fulfilling their rights. Same to the friends. Same to the friends when you get married. This is very important, my brothers, because do not allow what has happened to others to happen to you. Many relatives have destroyed marriages, and we know, especially in some tribes and cultures, it's worse than others. But we have seen that in almost all over the world now, there has been that element of family. Your sister, my brother, your mother, your father. There is a lot of interferences in marriages. And each one is claiming that, but that is my sister, and that is my son, and that is my daughter. We should not do that. These are things that should be controlled. They should be limited, and they should be avoided, and they should be safeguarded, lest they destroy our marriages. Besides family, there are what is called health issues. Health issues. Please share health issues, especially for those who want to get married from the beginning. I'm really emphasizing, and I'm really advising, having known what I know that I cannot reveal here. People lies a lot regarding their health, and it's just fair, and it is Islamic that you reveal this. It's good. Somebody has, is diabetic. Say, tell your partner that I want to marry you, but I have this. maybe his or her dua, is going to be a means of, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curing you. And if not, maybe he's going to be there. Maybe for that reason, he or she is going to marry you. We have cases of STDs, sexual transmitted, diseases. How many people are lying in the beginning? And so I will always advise people, go to the hospital and do some, some major tests, to know your status. We do not forget that, AIDS, HIV and AIDS is still there. People don't talk about it. They meet, I love you, and then they get married. They only realize that, one of them is sick, or even both of them are sick, right? We are living in a society of zina, okay? And whether Muslims or non-Muslims are tempted, especially young people, right? And it has been found that, people have these diseases. People have these diseases. So how do you know? Please discuss your health status. If you have any disease, reveal it, say it, and encourage each other to go to the hospital. And by saying disease, I'm also talking about even mental health. I'm talking about mental health. There are people who take some medication. Tell your partner that I have, I was diagnosed with this, and I've been taking some medications. I'm on medication, to balance it and control it. Do not hide any type of disease that you have that has come after marriage or when you meet. It's very important, because if you hid something, you have lied. If you hide something, you have lied. And if it's known after a few days that you are taking your own medication, don't you see that you have already lied to your husband? Especially if it is a disease that is also going to hurt the other party, like HIV. You heard it and you didn't say it, and you lied as a Muslim or a Muslim, and now your husband or your wife has it. She realized after marriage that, oh, my husband or my wife is a carrier. So these are areas that has really, 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 caused instability, hate, okay, grudges, right, and has led to divorce. Avoid that. The last point for today is what is called finances. Discuss your finance, especially in the world where both sides are working. There are more women working in public, or private places, or are leaving home to work, okay, in places than before, right? So can you discuss your finances? We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that men have to do what? Have to feed them, have to feed their wives, and also have to clothe them, right? And we know that. Lacking, it will be fair if you sit down and discuss, finances. And by doing this, also you need to understand the limitation, because some women are too much into their men's pocket. They are dictating. I had a case in Denver here, in my office, where a brother is crying. Tears are coming out of his eyes. And the wife is seated there, that his wife doesn't even allow him to send $200, $300, $400 to his mother. And the wife says, yes, you have to. We agreed when we were getting married that you should bring all your salary to me. Then I will give you what I think should be given to your mother elsewhere, maybe in Africa or another country. Wallahi, she takes 100 from the husband's sweat, and she dictates that, send this to your mom. Discuss finances. Let your wife maybe have an idea of your earning, because some men are also blaming women for nothing. Some men are blaming their wives for nothing. A woman thinks that maybe you are receiving, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, but your salary is only $25,000 or $3,000. Had you informed her that, I'm not earning more than $3,000, maybe she would have budgeted. Okay, she would have been fair in budgeting, but you blame her for being extravagant, spendthrift, wasteful, because of the image that you yourself created. Also, wives need to know what is the importance of discussing finances, because according to Islam, a man has to provide, right? Okay, from mahr, a man pays mahr, not a woman. Number two, a man has to spend on his family. Okay, you have to clothe her, you have to feed her, you have to provide accommodation. But wife also must understand that a husband is not only working for her and children. A husband has more responsibility towards, his parents, and maybe has sisters and brothers that is also taken care of. And that should not be a problem, because he did not marry you to come and dictate his pocket according to Islam. Just like a man doesn't have right over his wife's wealth that she acquired before or even after, unless there was a partnership and share on it. Finances have destroyed many relationships. Finances has caused mist and distrust between people. Finances, subhanallah, most of cases revolves around finances. Finances. Be transparent. Understand your Islamic Sharia boundaries on finances, right? When and how you need to understand rules and regulations that avoid, that governs it. Include how do you acquire your finances and how do you spend them, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask you, amin al-halal aw al-haram. You cannot just work and sell drugs and do haram work, going to casino with a pretext or claim that I'm feeding my family, I'm providing. No. It's haram to earn your living from haram. It's haram to feed your family from haram. And also it's haram to spend whatever you have in a haram way. So discuss finances in details, and this will really restore stability and trust and harmony and happiness in the house. وجزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.